Two main aspects in film production are what you see and what you hear. Sound is just as important as what the camera lens sees. Today on Below the Line, we talk to a sound mixer and learn how it gets the sounds from set to screen. It all starts now on Below the Line on location.
It's Below the Line with George Peroulas. On tonight's show,
Welcome to Below the Line on location. I'm George Peroulas. Today we're in beautiful Freedom Park, a popular location in Charlotte used in many movies, commercials, and TV episodics. Even the majestic peace and quiet of a park has sound. Sound that the sound mixer must capture. After all, with no sound, you see him with his sound bag and boom pole hovering his mic over an actor's head as they perform their scene, and he's here to explain the business of sound. Please welcome sound mixer Kevin Strom. Hey Kevin, how are you?
Hey George.
Thank you for being here today. We're excited to talk to you about sound, all the things that you've been doing over the past couple of years. Now the main locations for filming are either occurring in a location setting like this, a park,
Right.
or a sound stage with soundproofing. I guess I don't have to ask you which you prefer.
Well, I mean, obviously we want to be in a controlled environment as much as possible because that way we can control what is being recorded and what quality it's being recorded at. So a sound stage gives you the soundproofing that you need to stop things like planes and loud cars and trucks and stuff like that. When you're out on a location like this, there's stuff that is out of your control. So we prefer to be in a soundstage, but we adjust for whatever environment we're in.
You're busy mixing sound on all sorts of movie sets these days, but how did you begin working in the industry?
I started out as a musician actually, and I think that's what got me into sound. I'm a guitar player, and when you're in a band, you want to learn how to record with your band, so you go into a studio, you learn how mixing works, how recording works, and how to get the best sound, for your band and for the music. That sort of led into a career which, to pay the bills, not all musicians and bands make money like they want to, but I got into corporate audiovisual and did audiovisual for meetings. And actually I worked for a hotel company for about 13 years, mixing audio for them, doing, shows. And so that sort of helped me learn the basics and actually more than just the basics. It helped me learn to master sound and recording and kind of being familiar with all the equipment and so forth. From there, it transitioned into short film. I've always been a creative person. What started out as maybe musical creativity kind of transitioned into storytelling and film. And I started making short films, and friends of mine that I had from high school and college, we got together and we started making short films. And I've done some short films in North Carolina, Tennessee, and that transitioned into a new career of sorts. And now I'm a full-time freelance sound mixer, and I got to do feature films now, so it's fun.
So you're doing all sorts of projects, but one of your short films that you worked on recently won an award. Tell me about The Last Goodbye.
Yeah, The Last Goodbye was a film that we did with Silk Cozart, and we shot that in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we entered into a couple festivals, and one here in Charlotte, actually the UNC Short Film Festival, it won first place, the Gold Award. So that was an honor to receive that award for that film, because we worked really hard on it.
I am getting traces of radiation. It was definitely here.
Sweep the house for anything to tell us where this guy is. Well, it was here, but it's gone now. We've got bomb-making materials and weapons. This guy's gone operational.
We've got to find him now.
Oh, we're gonna tear this place apart. We'll find something.
Logan, come take a look at this. It's got a map of downtown.
Wait a minute, these are pictures of the stadium. That must be his target.
There's a game today. You don't think he's
Pack this stuff up. We gotta get there now. He's after the stadium. We're on our way.
Logan, the bomb squad's on its way.
Do we know what he's driving?
He needs a truck or van to haul that bomb.
Stadium security has started their evacuation protocol, but it's going to take a while.
That's him. That's him right there.
Now you're geared up and staying busy. What kinds of projects do you work on?
I'm doing commercials now, where I get to, come out and record for maybe someone like Walmart, or it might be a furniture company. You never know what it is when they call. I also do some corporate stuff sometimes on the side, and then my favorite thing is independent feature films. I've done a Christian film, a slasher movie. So the contrast there is amazing. And then I've got to work with some really neat people. Mountaintop was a great film, directed by Gary Wheeler and Robert Whitlow. They're a team that wrote that movie. So I'm keeping busy.
Does the type of genre affect how you do your job?
The type of genre does affect. I mean, I felt like one of my most challenging sound jobs ever was on a slasher thriller movie called Curfew, where you may be recording an actor's performance that in one sentence they may range from a whisper to a scream because they're under attack by a guy with a knife or whatever. So that's a challenge. And whereas maybe something like a drama may be a little bit more consistent and you can kind of predict what the dialogue is going to sound like. So absolutely, yeah. I mean, if it was an action movie and there were explosions and gunfire, that's something you have to account for as well. So sure, it definitely makes a difference.
What is it like being front and center, right where the action is?
That's one of the things I enjoy most about doing sound on a film is I feel like I get to be on the crew that makes a film. Everyone's creative, everyone's contributing to the art that they're making, but not everybody gets to be that close to the actors or that close to the action. And I feel like when you're a sound mixer, you're part of that almost intimacy of what's happening in front of the camera. And I get to hear things that other people on the crew don't get to hear. And that's really exciting because I feel like I'm right there in the middle of that art that's being created.
As technology has changed throughout the years, so has the advancement in sound recording. I guess they're not using reel-to-reel anymore. What's being used today?
Yeah, we're definitely all digital now, George. I don't think there's very much tape left out there in the world. We record on, a digital medium, and it gets recorded usually onto cards or onto hard drives. And then at the end of the shoot day, we just turn those cards or that media over to, the production people, and they take it from there. No tapes needed.
So what kind of cost is involved if somebody wants to get into sound and sound mixing? What is it that you need to get started with to get out there and get hired?
I mean, really, if you boil it down to the basics, I mean, if you have a recording device and a microphone, you could start with that. Obviously, the higher up you go on the production level of a film, the higher the quality really needs to be and the greater the demands are. On a small shoot, on a small independent film, we only have a few characters, a few actors. You can get by with little. But as you get to a bigger film, you're going to need more equipment and more stuff. So it all depends on the scale of the film.
What equipment do you use?
It starts with microphones. So I have a shotgun microphone. It goes on the boom pole. I use a device called a blimp or a zeppelin to put it over the mic so that if we're outside and the wind is blowing, we have protection over that microphone to keep it from making noise that we don't want. And then a bunch of cables leads to a mixer, and I have a field mixer that has 3 inputs on it right now. And what I can do is put that in a bag, throw it over my shoulder, and I'm basically mobile. I can go anywhere with that bag and with my microphone and record what I need to record. Once it hits the mixer, it needs to be recorded. And depending on the type of equipment you have, you can record it right in that unit itself. I use an external digital recorder, so I take an output from that mixer, and I've mixed those sounds together, and then they get recorded onto the digital recorder.
Very good. Coming up next on Below the Line, find out where sound guys hide microphones not seen by the camera. Stay with us. Welcome back to Below the Line. With us is sound mixer Kevin Strom. Now, Kevin, I've been on some sets and I've seen the sound guys and the boom guys up high on ladders trying to get their sound, or down low, hiding somewhere behind a set piece to not be seen by the camera. Is it physically demanding doing what you do?
It can be. You know, if you're mixing, sometimes you're actually seated and you're with equipment. You're just kind of monitoring that. But if you're the boom operator, your arms might be up in the air holding a boom pole, and you kind of need to stay there as long as it takes to get that take and that they're shooting at the moment. So it can be demanding for that reason. Again, if you're focused on getting the best sound possible, you do whatever it takes to get that shot.
Well, to me, it's exhausting. I mean, holding that boom pole all day long, how do you do it?
I don't know. I think like anything, you can kind of get used to it. Practice makes perfect. I mean, upper body strength is probably a little bit important there. A lot of guys in film or girls in film, they have muscles in places that other people don't, because that's what they do every day. So and the other thing is that takes usually don't always last a really, really long time. So you're going to get a chance to rest in between.
Talk about some tricky shots where you've had to wiggle your way into position to get sound.
One of the first things I usually do when we're about to roll is I try to check my frame, and that just means what is the kind of box that is my parameters of where I can be, and that also tells me where I might be able to hide. For example, on a recent show that we shot at a coffee house, I might have been hiding below a counter to stay out of frame, but also be able to get the microphone close enough to the actors to record their performance. Or I could be maybe hiding behind a wall, you know, up on a ladder out of frame. Honestly, there's no limits to what you can do. I had a boom operator work for me on a film that we were filming at a high school, and the actors were in front of a set of lockers, and I had him crawl up on top of the lockers and boom down from above, and he was out of frame, but he was able to, you know, to get the shot that we needed.
Do you incorporate other microphones on actors or in set pieces?
Absolutely. I try to mic each actor as best I can. It's kind of sort of a standard to put a wireless mic on an actor, especially on the features, but certainly for like interviews like this, where I can, and if it's something I can afford, to put wireless on all the actors. And then I can also get some extra grip equipment involved, and sometimes use what are called plant mics, where we put something, you know, near the actor who's talking, you know, to pick up what they're saying. Basically, the goal is, no matter where I am, to have the equipment to get the best recording and the highest quality sound possible. But there's always that boom mic there as well, and you need that for reference, for ambiance, or whatever you want to call it, and then you can hopefully mix those two together in post.
How do you prepare before filming begins?
It starts with the script. I want to know what the story is about, and if there's dialogue, you know, that's my job, is to record, you know, the story and what the actors are talking about and what their emotions are conveying. So I read the script first, and each day or before each scene in a day, I'll review the dialogue. And typically we have something called sides, which are printed out kind of smaller little versions of the script of the scene that you're shooting at that moment. And I'll review the dialogue just to make sure that I know what's happening and that I'm going to be recording everything correctly. And the script will also tell you if you're to be expecting something like a scream, or, you know, a very emotional scene where people are going to get loud. And it's those dynamics you have to watch out for, is the highs and lows, and being able to know what's coming can help you out.
And before the majority of the filming begins, does the sound guy go on a tech scout, and what is that?
I do go on tech scouts. For example, on the film Mountaintop, we spent an entire day going around to all the locations before we were even filming. No cameras were there, no sound equipment was there, and everybody in their respective departments kind of evaluates the location that you're at. And of course, I'm keyed into what does it sound like. So for that one, we encountered things like, wow, there's a lot of airplanes traveling over this specific location, or there's a busy street over here we have to kind of be aware of.
Like this park. There's been planes, there's been ducks, there's been people jogging and kids screaming, and up the hill is a house under construction. So you hear all of that.
Exactly, yeah. And it's sort of kind of a decision that you need to make with the director and with the assistant director is this going to compromise this location, or is it something we can overcome by other means? So tech scouting is, very important to make sure that you're you know what you're getting into when you arrive on set.
Below the Line continues. Stay with us. Welcome back to Below the Line. With us is sound mixer Kevin Strom. What do you have coming up next in the world of sound for Kevin Strom?
Well, I'm looking forward to doing more feature films. I'm going to be in Atlanta soon shooting Virtuous, which is another Christian film directed by Bill Ron. The producer's Jason Campbell, and that's going to be a big one. That'll be fun. It'll be 27 days of shooting in the Atlanta area. So that's what's coming up next and what I'm looking forward to.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for being on the show, and we wish you another busy and productive year.
Thank you, George.
Below the Line continues. Stay with us. Thanks again to Kevin Strom, and thank you for watching. Please contact us with your questions, comments, or show ideas. The email address is belowtheline21@gmail.com, and join our fan page on Facebook. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Kevin.
For more information, comments, or questions about the show, email us at belowtheline21@gmail.com.